Hello. Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, have mercy on me, a sinner. Hope you're all well today. What is today? Is it Thursday yet? It's Thursday. Today I'm going to talk about pride, my own pride, the ability for pride to show up as an appealing little creature. Actually, start with a recent confession that I made with my priest. I was talking about the world of the internet. I was talking about the world itself, the focus on the world, and looking at the things that I thought were threats. And he said, "Threats to what? You moron," he said with his eyes. Well, I said, threats to the church. Threats to the church. He said, "What do you mean? What's a threat to the church? What are you talking about? Never heard of this." I said, threats to the church. People who speak out against the church, people who are in the church who I think don't represent the church, people who leave the church and lie about the church, heretics. The people, the enemies, I said. The enemies, I told him. He looked at me calmly, and he said, "The enemies?" He said, "You mean demons?" And I said, "Yeah, the people." He said demons, I said people. I laughed. My laugh, deep guttural laugh, a laugh of acknowledgement, filled the entire sanctuary. Just the two of us in there. He laughed. He laughed at me. He saw the acknowledgement as well. It was like a bing. Oh, look at that distinction. I swear, I was holding on. I said, no, they're people, right? I mean, come on, I get it. There's demons, but they're the people, right? No. He said, of course, throughout church history, there's a time to fight against heresy. There's a time to fight against the physical embodiment that's working against the church. But he said, if you think you, singular, talking head, Jim Bob, James, as I go by my saint's name and my birth name, if you think you're the one, you're the last firewall, you're the last stand, and Satan's going to have to get through you to get to the church, you're already filled up with so much pride you can't even see straight. You think you're one of the main generals? Oh, good thing Jim Bob's out there. Otherwise Satan would knock down the gates. Get a hold of yourself. That's pride. And pride can come in the form of virtue. Pride can come in the form of righteousness. It looks like righteousness. It looks like virtue. It feels like it. It feels like a real fight. You're doing the right thing. You're saying the right stuff. There's a battle out there. I got to win the battle. Nah. Everyone knows the first battle is in the mirror. Everyone knows the first enemy looks like you. Everyone knows that you're the chief sinner. Everyone knows this. But you're like, I'll just, I got to put the mirror down because I got to go out there. I'll be back. Hey, you stay. Hey, you stay right there. I'll be back. I'll work on you later. I didn't forget about you. I'll be back. I'm going to go get the other bad guys first. I'll be back later for dinner, and then we'll discuss my failures. Then we'll discuss where I depart, where I miss the mark. I'll do that later. No, you do that first. You do that first. And it's very tempting, especially in the world, right? The world of narratives, the world of spinning narratives, the world of combating narratives, fighting for the descriptional truth. Who killed Charlie Kirk? Who done it? Can you imagine taking the question, who killed Charlie Kirk, and presenting it as a crux to the church in 600? Can you imagine taking such a temporal particle of dust in the wind back to the martyrs and presenting it to the martyrs? Be like, hey, I know your arm's getting ripped off, but what's your stance on Candace Owens and Andrew Wilson? I really want to get your position. It's really important for the life of the church. How about no? How about it's not? How about none of it is? How about calling out Zionism in the time that you live in the grand scheme of things? Yeah, that's there. That's a anathema. That's built on a heresy. Sure. That's not your life. That's not your life. That's not it. That doesn't get you to Vespers. You know? That doesn't make it. That doesn't make your life, man. None of it. Whatever your view is. Owning the libs also doesn't get you there. That's not going to get you there. That's not going to be the full life of the church. Right? Saving the conservative movement, not going to be ultimately the life of the church, really. It's not there. It's not there. That's politics. It's in your life. It's a work in your life, but it's not identical. It's not the foundation. And so this internet thing is wild because, you have division. There are priests that I would love to do like a call out video on, but I will not. And the thing unique about Orthodox Christians, sorry, Protestants and the rest, it doesn't apply to you, is that the first and foremost thing to acknowledge is if someone's Orthodox Christian. If they are Orthodox Christian, they are, regardless of how you feel about it, your brother in Christ. And Tony is my brother in Christ. Andrew and Rachel, brother and sister in Christ. If I have a problem with any of my brothers or sisters in Christ, they will know before the internet does. The internet is not your confession. The internet is not the priest. The internet is not the church. The internet is not your parish. The temptation to make the internet, the mob, your ears for your grievances is a temptation we all have. We all have it. But if I have a problem with my brother in Christ, I go to them. The internet is not a person. You guys are all people. You have personhoods. You have energies. You have flaws. You have sins. You have problems. When I speak, you can only speak to the general group, unless you're talking to the person. You got to go to the person. When you appeal to not the church, when you appeal to not the guidance, and this goes for everyone. This goes for me. This goes for Tony. This goes for Andrew. This goes for anybody. If you don't appeal through the lens, through the protocol of the church, you're appealing to yourself and you're appealing to the masses. The moment you appeal to the masses for your grievance, guess who's the new church? The masses. And that's how it unfolds. Do you know how many DMs, Instagram messages, Discord messages, comments, concerns I got? A totally outside of the church phenomenon. Totally outside the church. People not in the church. Anybody with an account with thumbs. The temptation, especially, and this goes to people who are Orthodox, it really doesn't apply to anyone else that's in the chat. Sorry. If you're feeling FOMO, convert. My concern is converting people to Orthodoxy. My concern is once they're converting, supporting them and staying Orthodox. Ultimately, where people stand, how you think other people behave who are also Orthodox. Let's say you think someone's not representing Orthodoxy well. Well, like I said, you best look at yourself first, if that's your concern. Make sure that's sorted out. And then maybe ask a priest if you should pursue such an inquiry about other people. I think that's wise. Okay? But even if it were the case that someone doesn't represent Orthodoxy, that in your view, they just don't embody it or whatever the case, if you bring that to the internet and not go through the proper protocol of Orthodoxy through the church with the guidance of a priest, the irony is that the division ends up being something that doesn't represent Orthodoxy either. Even if you were right about it. The public avenue called the internet also isn't Orthodox. The online Orthodoxy, only a colloquialism for talking about Orthodoxy or an Orthodox person giving their summary of stuff. But Orthodoxy, the life of Orthodoxy, is not the internet. Right? It's not the internet. It's a trap. It's a trap. No matter how strong your feelings are. Even if your assessments are accurate or inaccurate, it doesn't matter. The internet is not the church. It gives a false sense that if you have, in your opinion, a righteous take, and you do it, like there's some sort of reward system at play. But when you look at it, it doesn't actually sort anything out. It doesn't heal. It doesn't solve a problem. There's no resolution to it. And I ultimately think, I've been thinking about this for the last day, obviously, and thinking, well, people should be able to say their grievances. People should be able to say what's on their mind. And then I think, okay, but even that said, isn't there a prudent protocol for it? Like if I ask my priest, not that I would ask him every single engagement or whatever, but ultimately, with the guidance of a priest, you could probably say, hey, I'm about to do this thing. Should I do it? They'd give you a response, So that's ultimately what I look at is, well, the internet has become basically everybody's podium. And everyone has to give their take. And the thing is, not every take should be given. Not every take should be given. The internet is not the catch-all for everything. It's not. But we're in a culture where it seems to be like, oh, that's the way, right? That's the way. You just go to the internet. It's democracy. What is democracy? Whose system is democracy? Not Christ's. So someone's going to be, oh, what's Jim Bob's take? Oh, I can't wait till Jim Bob, because I end up being caught in the middle. Oh, what's Jim Bob's take? Oh, who's he gonna choose? Who's he gonna pick? Who's gonna pick for dodgeball? I picked the church. Nice try, demons. My allegiance isn't to whose narrative about temporal, public events. That's not my allegiance. Oh, but you got to pick a side. Yeah, I already did when I was baptized. I picked a side when I was baptized. Don't get it wrong. The world out there is not the church. It's not. The internet is not the church. Your allegiance is not to a set of descriptions about politics. Orthodoxy is practiced. It's not described. So that's my take on it. I don't need to give a personal take on everything that anybody says. Okay? I don't need to. That's not the splitting point for me. There are people at my own parish I don't like. Okay? It's irrelevant to the truth and life of Orthodoxy. Calling out anti-Zionism or whatever, right? The whole thing. Calling out Zionism, being on this side or that side if that tell me when that converts people. I'll be waiting. I'll be waiting. I'll be waiting to hear when a take on a public event or a political, current affairs, when one of the sides lights up someone's spirit and they go, oh, you know what, I'm going to go check out an Orthodox church now. Never. And by the way, if that was the case, that's not a good reason. That's not a good reason to get into the church. And defending a certain view of politics, of current affairs, current events, that's not a good reason to stay. People want to basically have it be based in the world. That's a temptation. You see it even in my chat right now. Back to the world. Wait, no. Hold on, Jim Bob. You're focusing on something that's ultimately true and very important about redemption, about repentance, about humility, about knocking down your pride. But can we talk about this? No. Demons want you to talk about people. Demons want you to talk about the world. They want you to talk about what divides, in the world. That's what they want. And it works. It's very effective. You come out with a base take, right? You get claps, you get golf claps for it. We all have the temptation to do it. I do it sometimes. Everyone has it. It's not peculiar. Tony's not unique in this. Tony likely said something that a lot of people were thinking. That's a type of release valve, if you will, for people. Oh, finally, I get to say my deep down thoughts and opinions about Andrew Wilson or something like this. Okay, get it out. How about this? Now what? Are you Orthodox? No, I'm not Orthodox, but I really like Tony's take. Okay? What does it matter? What does it matter? Honestly. Bro's going through historic mental gymnastics. There's nothing about being Orthodox that's fence sitting. Not even close. If you're talking to me, I don't know if you're talking to me. Look, see? Pride puffed up just like that. My pride puffed up just like that. But if that is to me, no. Being Orthodox is the opposite of fence sitting. Pushing people who are Orthodox who disagree back to the direction of Orthodoxy and its practice is not fence sitting. If that was to me. But I don't know if that was to me. It's really important. It's really important. No matter what your view is. If you think Andrew and Rachel are in some dark scenario and you're Orthodox, if you're right, you pray. If you're right, you talk to them. If there's not a path for resolution, then you're in your pride. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're in pride. Because there's only one resolution. Like, there's no political resolution. You don't resolve all of these things, all of these topics, all of these speculations. You don't resolve them in the world. They're not resolved through that. You know, that's just going to the world to fix the world. The world is broken. So you got to agree with Andrew to be Orthodox? Total opposite of what I said. I literally just said, you dumb fuck. Pride. Picking up. Jim Bob's pride picking up. I literally said temporal agreements about public dust in the wind events like Charlie Kirk. Sorry, rest in peace, dust in the wind. Irrelevant to the truth and life of Orthodoxy. I literally said the opposite. You retard. Pride. I'm going to get a pride check on Isle Jort. See, this is what it looks like when you hold on to the world. Pray for enslaved by truth. Pray for enslaved by truth. Because that's what it looks like to say, no, come back to the world, come back to the world. Jim Bob, come back to the world. You're elevating out of worldliness and you're pointing people to truth, church, practice, orthodoxy, forgiveness, repentance, self-reflection, communion, the sacraments, fasting. You know, the things that heal our spiritual ailments, the ailments of which inform our disagreements a lot of time. No, come back to the world. Yeah, because you don't have a church, dude. Of course you say that. Your church is the internet too. Enslaved by Truth. Your church is the internet. Your fellowship is a chat room. Your dogma is this stuff. That's not orthodoxy. You're not orthodox. So I don't really care what you say. I wish you would convert. I wish you would come out of this cocoon of just pure. You're just stuck in the internet, man. You're stuck right in it. This piety signal, that has no authority. You have no authority. That's another thing. Anybody who says anything true that pulls people toward the spiritual path of truth is piety signaling now. So this is a type of blasphemy now, right? According to the world. According to the world. All you do is grab onto people as they escape worldliness, you know, Enslaved by Truth's little claw hands, his little raccoon hands, claw into the calves of people while they climb out of the pit of despair. And he's like, you're not going anywhere. We're in the internet and you're staying. Says the guy literally on the internet every day. Dude, I didn't make an argument against being on the internet. It's just amazing. The blindness. It's just blindness. That's fine. You be blind, bro. I'm not going to fix you. I'm not here to clean up a mess. Do I look like a janitor? Don't answer that. I'm not here to clean up messes. I'm not here to clean up Tony if he makes a mess, swings his tail, knocks some shit over. I'm not here to clean up Andrew Wilson's mess if he's on the wrong path, if you guys think that. I don't care. My concern isn't with that. The trajectory of Charlie Kirk and all this garbage. It's irrelevant to me. My concern, ask anyone, is, did you go to liturgy? Ask Rachel yourself. The last communication. Yeah, all this stuff, it doesn't really move me. I just want to make sure you guys are practicing, that you're engaged in practicing with the church to whatever extent you are. That's what I said. You think I give a crap? You guys are getting sucked into something that is a dilemma in your view, but has nothing to do with orthodoxy. You got captured. You got internet captured. Forget about audience capture. That's a peculiarity of the streamer itself. You got internet captured. That's the thing. There are tons of people who are not Orthodox who have opinions about Andrew and the Wilsons and their true intentions and what they're doing and what they're not doing and all this commentary. You know. But if you're Orthodox, right, they have the liberty to just run around saying that's like doing whatever they want. They're saying stuff. You have a different obligation as an Orthodox person. Okay? You do. You can't pretend otherwise. There's a different approach that's required of you as an Orthodox person to approach other Orthodox people. No matter how much. No matter how much. There are Orthodox ecumenist people who I just, there are these people who I think are basically cancerous plants in the church that are festering. And boy, if I was the king for a day. Ooh. Oh. Please. But what do I do? You're called to practice. Like, even if you're on the internet, you're called to practice, okay? That's the fact, okay? There's no way around it. Your allegiance can't be your allegiance can't be drawn by political summaries of what's going on in the world, okay? If you're doing that, if you do that, you're off, okay? You're off. You're off the mark. I'm not even saying your opinions are totally invalid or maybe your takes they can be hit or miss. It doesn't matter. What I'm saying is it doesn't matter. If the line that you draw in the sand is geopolitical, it's off. So virtuous. I'm not. Co-parter, dude. You're not in the church. What you say doesn't actually matter, Enslaved by Truth. You're just a heckler. That's all you do. Your entire identity here in this world that we know is a heckler. I know nothing of your spiritual life. I know nothing of your sins. I know nothing of anything you do in your world. That's all you do. This is all you are. Nothing. What? I think I saw one picture of a stained glass on your Instagram once. The rest of it is just, you're like a chick, dude. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you don't feel embarrassment. You think that's a plus for you, dude? If you think I ever feel shame and embarrassment, you don't know me. Take that. Unbelievable, man. Come on. Come on. What I'm saying is that all of this stuff is pulling people into the wrong dilemmas. It's the wrong dilemma. Yeah. It's not irrelevant. If you think someone is if you're an Orthodox person and you think someone else who's Orthodox is going astray, there's actually a way you can approach that from the Orthodox position. Right? This is only to the Orthodox people, by the way. Sorry, you guys are excluded. You just are. There is an approach to going after, so to speak. There's an approach to going after fellow Orthodox people. Okay? There just is. And if you know them, you're actually closer to the approach. If you don't know them and you just are acquainted with them, you kind of don't have the seat. Right? Because the most you can do is make a post or say something, but then you're appealing to the audience. Very dangerous to appeal to the audience in things like this. No, I don't agree. No. I understand his position. I understand certain optics and concerns and how things look, but I know Andrew and Rachel. So you can't I knew Andrew and Rachel before they got to the level that they're at now. You can't remove that history. You can't remove that back knowledge and experience from me. Tony doesn't have that. It doesn't matter though. Dude, it just doesn't matter. Because ultimately, if you're Orthodox, your main position is getting people into the Orthodox Church and maintain your practice. It's a difficult practice. Very difficult. The internet doesn't make it easier. You think so. You think like you get into these like little groups who are Orthodox and you go around to the chats and, I'm going to go to Cleve, and I'm going to go to Soren, I'm going to go to Jim Bob, I'm going to go to Jay, and you feel this sense of almost fellowship. It's like a pseudo-fellowship. And then you might get even the sense that you're good. You know, you're good. I'm good. I'm all good. I super chatted. I posted a crown emoji. I posted the Orthodox cross emoji. We're good. Oh, really? Should you make it a liturgy? No, I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot going on this week. Tons going on this week. I did call out someone, though. I did call out somebody publicly. So, there's that. Doing the work. Okay. So, yeah, the problem is, it's like any priest would tell you too. It's you. Like, you look to yourself first. If you think you're tracking down the evil one and fighting some sort of thing that's going to save the day, you know, just make sure you got a mirror next to you. That's all. Disappointed in I don't care what your disappointment is, okay? Sounds like sneak what does that mean? I don't talk this language. Speak like a fucking man, dude. I'm so tired of internet slang. It's like something you write on a freaking bathroom stall. Speak like a man! Fucking retards. Can I start now? Yeah. Yeah. My son is a mirror. Well, yeah, well said. Well said. We don't speak Ebonics. That's right, Tony. I mean, if you're going to do a super call out, a public call out to a super public person, at least don't talk like a black guy, Tony. You're doing a good job. You sound like a good friend. Be there. I am a good friend. That's actually what's exclusively awesome about Orthodoxy, is that no matter what you see disagreements and falling out between, or you don't have to be friends with people just because they're Orthodox, obviously, but there's an advanced position. You have an advantage as an Orthodox person when you're dealing with other Orthodox people, and knowing the advantage is important. The advantage is that Orthodoxy supersedes and transcends political positions. Dissing him? No, I'm not dissing Tony. Tony knows my position on his buildups and outbursts and whether or not they're prudent or not. I'm not going to guard Tony, though. Ultimately is his priest job. I'm not going to check in with Tony and make sure before he says something that I think it's prudent. That's not my job. He can ask me, and I'll tell him, but I'm not going to guard him. Tony is always going to say what Tony says. That's what we know about Tony. In fact, that's what most of you love about Tony. He's just going to say it. He can't not say it. He just explodes. Just comes out. Cleans it up later. But I'm not Tony's cleanup man, and I'm not Andrew Wilson's cleanup man. I'm Jim Bob. I'm not in a high school gymnasium where you have to pick a team. My team is picked, I told you. On May 24th, my team was picked. When I died. My job is to remind people who are Orthodox that that's their team, okay? That's your team. They're on your team. Spiritually, they're on your team. Politically, if you say, well, they're not on my team because of this political event or whatever, then I'm just saying, that's not Orthodoxy. It's not. The beauty of Orthodoxy is that forgiveness, understanding, resolution, the practice of Orthodoxy itself, not a vote, not a likes on videos, not the appeal to majority. What do you think? Well, I think most of the comments are really good, but some of them are bad. No, that's not Orthodoxy. I get disagreements over people who use strawberry jam over grape jelly on their peanut butter sandwiches, but I still have love for them. Yeah. And that's what it comes down to. You gotta love, you gotta navigate where people are at. Also assuming that you're right about them, by the way. You gotta assume everything you're saying is right about these people. I mean, you gotta go off that, right? Almost commented many times, what would I do? Love my brother. You pray. Comments are definitely not a replacement for prayer either. Putin is on our team. Well, I mean, Putin, the person, the person, if Putin's Orthodox, spiritually, yeah. See what I'm saying? You see how they obfuscate? They smash it together. Do you understand the distinction I'm making? Do you understand? You don't understand. All these psychologizers in the chat trying to frame things you're saying and whatever they want. Yeah, I know. Well, because they don't want it be through the lens of Christianity. They want it to be through the lens of the world. And guess what? Psychologizing is a worldly approach.
Cool it with the anti-Semitic remarks.
It is. It's a worldly approach to things. Trying to examine intentions, that's a worldly approach. Trying to reduce everything to just what? Money and power, and there's no person there. Just disregarding that there's a person there. That's worldliness. It's too easy to talk from the stands, you guys. It's way too easy to just say it from the stands and yell it from the stands. It's way too easy. The internet made it so easy to do this. It's like, I mean, it's increasing in multitude. Putin sent me $5 zillion. I think Putin's pretty awesome. EBT's too ahead of the game for you to understand. Well, I mean, I know he thinks that, but it's like, he's not orthodox. So this is a conversation about orthodoxy. He's irrelevant to orthodoxy. So EBT, if he has his finger on the pulse of the goings on of the internet and people who talk on the internet and what they're doing and all this like commentary, it has nothing to do with orthodoxy. That's my point. Just supporting. Thank you so much.
Holy cow! That is a big super chat!
Partly why I don't agree with the debate, a worldly approach, speculation, and narrative swaying. Well, it is a battle of narrative. So, in the end, it might have something to do with the political trajectory. I'm not in politics. I'm not in the world or the business of swaying politics. Other people are. So that's just how that is, and if someone's orthodox and they're in the world of politics, in the world, the things they're doing in the world are always going to seem worldly, and to make sure that they're not caught up in the world, you're going to have to know that person. You know what I mean? You're going to have access to that person. So if it's like, if the concern about Andrew and Rachel and that whole world of things is that, oh, they're Orthodox, but are they, or they're after this or this or this? And it's like all of this speculation. And honestly, it's like, well, you still have to know them if you wanted to. Let's say that was true. If that was true, you would still have to know them if you cared to alter anything. And that's what I see a lot of, is people call things out, but then you ask a question of like, well, are you committed to altering this, to resolving this, to something? Are you committed to that? And then that's too hard. It's too hard to do that. Then you have to actually get to know people, and you have to know their the other aspects of who they are that you don't see on the internet. And then it takes time, and then it takes communication. It takes it takes putting your pride aside, and then nobody, like, you do. That's why orthodoxy is truly at the parish level. This is exactly why you couldn't operate a parish, swap out the physicality of being with people, practicing and worshiping with people, participating in the sacraments with people, getting to know them as flawed people. You couldn't do that and swap the fellowship aspect of Christianity with the internet. You couldn't do it. You could never truly get to know the person. And that's what is kind of frustrating. Because it's not that reduced. You don't get to just take an optics of you of the world and people in it and get to write people off. You can try, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. You get like it's a free. That's a free position. Anyone can do that. That's a free position. You know what I mean? Can you please end the caps lock? No, I actually despise the caps lock. I actually also do. I understand it. See, even this exactly. I hate it. I hate caps. I hate caps. I have actually absolutely zero ego. The criticisms, I can get into the world. If that's why I said knowing people versus going off of just pure optics. I understand how chronologically, optically it could be bad. I know this because Andrew already knew this. You think Andrew went to train Tapusa noobs on debate and didn't understand the likely predictable backlash of that optically? You really think that? Of course. I mean, maybe the only underestimation is how bad the backlash of it would be, right? Optically. So of course, if Andrew understands the optics before going ahead and going forward with it, with reservation, okay, you gotta assess, you gotta assess this. Is this a good idea or a bad idea? You think that what didn't happen? I mean, come on. Are you guys retarded? Of course. So of course they understand that it's an understandable position. Is it ultimately reasonable? Minimally. The optics, what we interact with optics mostly on the internet. That's another problem with the internet. You mostly gather some events and some data from the internet and you place them in a timeline and you watch it like an animation. Of course, the optics. There wouldn't be a concern to go coach Tapusa debaters unless you knew there was a potential optics problem. They obviously assessed the optics, saw it, and said, yeah, there's going to be a lot of people who freak out about this. But is it worth it? Okay, that's determined by Andrew, if it's worth it. Worth it for what? I don't have the same goals as Andrew. Right? So it's like, so yeah, of course I understand the opposition and all of the criticisms of the Wilsons from that perspective of optics. Big deal. I also know what it's like to be completely demonized based on optics alone, by pure optics. Completely demonized. So I understand that. It's not that simple. Same thing with Tony. If you take the approach where you understand why optics alone can't ultimately be the thing that you think discredits the Wilsons, you have to do the same thing in this case for Tony. But can people do that? I actually don't know if people are I can do it, but I'm in a unique position because I know them. But I don't think most people can do it. You have to choose. You're forced to choose. You can't go to the, you can't go to the ball game and not choose a team. It's it doesn't make any sense. Tony is jealous. Yeah, that's just more psychologizing though. That's you know what I'm saying? It doesn't say anything. It's just gay. Oh, he's jealous. Everyone's jealous. No. No, Tony is someone who doesn't care if when he says something, if he finds it or feels it to be true, Tony doesn't care if it destroys him. And you think maybe that's kind of you could, in one sense, you can kind of see that as admirable, and maybe in a certain context. But then in another context, you could see it as not healthy. And this is nothing I wouldn't say to Tony himself. We've had many long, deep conversations about stuff. I love Tony. But, you know, that's the thing is like, Tony, if you think Tony's no, you don't know. You don't know Tony. No, not even close. Stop, all these remarks can be edited. I don't give a shit. I know Andrew. Andrew knows how people cut things up. Okay, so. Bunch of women. Well, of course, I mean, it's the world.
Pineapple. Dabiego.
Yeah, it can be stupid too. Yeah, of course. He knows that too. This is what do you call it? Sneak dissing? No, this isn't sneak dissing. It's not sneak dissing. That's why, you know, after thinking about all of this, I started seeing the tendency even that I have of getting into the sort of the political angle of it, the what's true, you know, what's sus, you know, what's this, what's that. I mean, you know, what should we make of this? It's like all this, like, you know, sleuthing about, and sleuthing about, even though it's fun, sleuthing about can be damaging. Sleuthing about can be damaging. It's fun though. It is fun. But it can be damaging because it gets into sleuthing about. The only medium is a form of gossip. It's not like it's proper reporting. Sleuthing about. It's not proper reporting. So what's not proper reporting? What is it categorized as? It's categorized as gossip. So, you know what I mean? You gotta watch it. You just gotta watch it. And this is peculiar to Orthodoxy. Like gossip in general, it's like, yeah, not a great practice. But gossip and public back and forths attacking of fellow Orthodox people is not. That's not. Nobody should be for that. Father Spiridon has a new video about feeling anxious about the world as a spiritual condition. Oh yeah, man, I've been dealing with it. That's like the main driver for everything that follows. Like when I'm anxious, anxiety, worry's a sin. Worry's a sin, and a lot of this stuff comes from worry. Like think about it. Think about it. The worst possible you can take, the worst possible take you can have of, let's say, Andrew. The worst, as an Orthodox person. He's Orthodox, you're Orthodox. The worst possible take that you can have of him, right, would still need to be resolved through an Orthodox lens. You can't refute that. You can't. You can't argue with me on that. Why I attack fellow Orthodox on lots of stuff? You're just saying now that... No. What are you talking about? Give me an example. What are you talking about? No examples. Nothing. You just lie. You do it all the time. When? When do I attack fellow Orthodox and it's somehow outside of the bounds that you just arbitrarily... Are you Orthodox? You're not. How about you shut your non-Orthodox yap? What did I tell you? The conversation, I'm glad more people are listening, but the conversation is specifically about Orthodox people, not you.
Sleuthing about can be a third world characteristic.
Cope stream. You're not Orthodox either, dude. It doesn't matter. What you guys think doesn't matter because I'm only speaking from the Orthodox lens to Orthodox people. You guys have the internet. That's your church. That's your world. Okay? That's it. Based on your standard, everything's a Cope stream. I mean, you guys do endless streams about Andrew. Is that a Cope stream? No. You guys are saying it's not a Cope stream. We're just literally every stream talking about Andrew Wilson. It's not a... You guys are... Jim Bob's Cope streaming because he's actually pointing to resolution. But that's a Cope stream. What are you talking about? Any given time these guys are going, it's going to be a stream about Andrew. Of course you're allowed to be here. No, that's not what I said. I'm saying the topic itself is pointed to Orthodox people. Like, because the topic is, if you have a problem with another Orthodox person and you're both on the internet, is there proper protocol? And I'm saying that there is. And because there's proper protocol, there's improper protocol. It's not about who you think is right. It's not about whether or not you think someone said a true statement or, that's not the point. The point is you go to the person. Did you comment on that Orthodox lady that was making her round to Prat shows to say there's a problem with new converts? Yeah, no, my critique is, why are we listening to you, lady? Which is perfectly appropriate inside of the Orthodox sphere.
Tpusa is evangelical. Evangelicals serve those who wish to bring forth the Antichrist. So how does Andrew helping literal minions of hell get glossed over? Doesn't the practicality of what he does go beyond optics at this point? I can agree this needs to be handled in-house though.
Okay, but the thing is, you're saying that what Andrew does is mostly helping what? Evangelical Zionists? Like, you're going to need to actually argue that. Like, that's another reason. That's what I'm saying is, like, optically, you come to these conclusions optically. You don't actually come to these conclusions based on, like, anything, like, causally. It's just optically. So it's like, I already said, yeah, you guys can come to your conclusions optically, but is that reasonable? No. You'd have to also include that Andrew has multiple debates against Zionism, right? You don't include that in your optics, though. Why not? That's the thing. It's not really a nuanced conclusion. That's the problem with the internet. When you know somebody, you can ask them questions about what their approach is. Maybe they fail. Maybe the approach Andrew's taking is position himself and basically subvert and take over Tpusa because it already has infrastructure in colleges. Like, I already said this before. He could totally fail. We could be totally wrong, right? He could have just pulled a number on all of us, right? Okay, fine. It's logically, practically possible. But if you said there's a big problem with Zionism, especially its ideology through evangelicalism, through Charlie Kirk and Tpusa invading the college, and even though they're owning the libs, they're infusing the colleges, even indirectly or directly, with this Zionist approach. Okay, what do you do? I mean, if you could alter that, right, would you? I'm asking you guys. If you could alter that, would you try?
Like the video. Don't make me visit the US.
That's up to Andrew if he wins or not, right? But if you're going to take a charitable approach, if his position is he's going to infiltrate these large-scale, very effective right-wing, meaningless term at this point, conservative, also meaningless at this point, systems that influence the next block of voters, right? If you could take that over, it's never going to not look, it's always going to look bad optically, especially at the beginning. Now, can he win that battle? I don't know. I'm not really a black pillar, but I think that's a pretty big challenge. You know, I don't think people should stop moving toward big challenges, but I know I've talked to Andrew. Like that would be the angle. It's not going to look good up in the beginning. You know, maybe he doesn't do it. Maybe he can't do it. But how could that ever look good in the beginning? Seriously. How could it ever look good? Pick anybody you liked. Pick someone you loved. You know, that didn't smoke and cuss and all your problems you have with Andrew and the way he talks or whatever. That, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's pick someone who's just like a beacon of purity, right? And they go in and they're like, you guys don't have your leader anymore.
I'm here to see my fish cousins who also poop where they eat and how I like to worship the holy cow and dance in its poop.
That is a very generous donation, like the one I left in the public pool.
So that's the point. That could be the case too, right? What I'm saying is it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. Whatever your assessment is of Andrew, you could voice it and you could be right or wrong.
People can feed off these streams and can do stuff like it's reality TV instead of real life.
Yeah.
Go to liturgy.
Yeah, go to liturgy. It doesn't matter. What are you gonna reward yourself? Let's say all the people who despise Andrew and they're infiltrators and they're this and that. Like, let's just say you end up being right about it. My point is, like, what do you get? Like, what do you get out of that anyway at the end? Would you be happy that you were right? If you were right, is there anything that you did or said that changed it anyway? It's like, what I'm looking at is like, everybody is in the stands yelling with their beer and pretzel to the field. And I'm going, are you on the field though? And they're like, no, I bought a ticket and I'm eating my freaking salty pretzel and my beer. Okay, so you're not playing. Do you want to play? No. I'm not playing. I'm saying. I'm a sayer, not a player. Okay, cool. Why? I don't need to listen to you then.
Andrew's just doing what he has always done. People suddenly hate because it's not to their taste.
Gatekeepers, what's there to gatekeep? That's what I'm saying. You don't have a church, dude. You're a Calvinist. You can't even criticize someone for being a gatekeeper. What is he gatekeep? Honestly, I've heard this criticism. Like, another thing that you could probably try to optically deduce. But in the end, I'm like, well, what's there to gatekeep? If your focus is on how to best describe Charlie Kirk's death, it's like, do you have a bigger game to play than that or what? Seriously, I challenge all of you. Can you list a bigger game that you can play than who can better describe what happened to Charlie Kirk? Still not telling me how Andrew is different than Napusa? Why is it on me? That would be your claim, retard. This is how you guys operate. This is what makes you guys insufferable. I have a thought about, can you tell me how I'm wrong? I'll be just sitting here getting my hair blown out. That's a weak position. Hey, I have an opinion about someone. You tell me how I'm wrong. Retard. That's on you. Clearly, a lot of people have contentions with Andrew. If you're not into cleaning up after him, why not spin the stream into something else? I'm not doing any cleanup. I'm just saying, if you're gonna say some things, you actually have to like attack not just optics. That's what I'm saying. Same thing with Tony. Optically, you're gonna be like, oh shit, oh my gosh, this ain't good. This, like people say, this ain't a good look. I think that just people don't care. I just think that. I think that a lot of people just would rather just say a thing and there's no obligation to do anything, you know? If that's it, at least admit it to yourself. You know what I'm saying? Admit it. But it's just that kind of stuff that's annoying. Like, that's like everyone I debate, too. It's like, show me how evolution's not true. And I'm like, your position is that we came from a fish. You're tasked on doing that. Not me. The internet can be, the internet as a tool can be very poisonous. And that's the problem, like, with pride. It's like pride ultimately is the thing everyone should be looking at and tending to changing within themselves, because the internet feeds on it. It actually rewards it. The internet rewards pride. We're all vulnerable. I'm vulnerable to it. It literally does. It literally monetarily even provides for prideful takes, loud takes. So it's not a healthy thing if you don't have a guard against it. But the internet, it's not its own guard. It's not its own guard. You have to leave the internet. Prayer.
Jimbo, I was recently trying to stir the cow poop into my family's curry for supper this evening, but then this cat slipped in and now I have a furry curry. Who else wants to continue pooping into my dinner?
Gross. God is in control, and we get what we deserve. Whether right or left, we will be directed according to ourself and are following God's will. No matter the intentions, good or bad, praise God, yeah. Well, that's the other thing is, like, do you pray? Like, do you actually pray for your enemies? Like, people say that as a platitude, but if you're a Christian and you're concerned about Andrew Wilson and his spiritual status or the direction he's going in or his intentions or what he's really about or all that speculation, honest question, do you pray for him? Assuming you're right about all of your concerns, do you pray? No, I'm going to do an expose, though. I'll do an expose. Okay, did you pray? No, it's a 3-part series. There's going to be a 3-part series coming up. Moments ago, you said Andrew could infiltrate Tapusa. Yeah, and what changes would he make? He pretends to be edgy. That part is unnecessary, dude. See what I'm saying? It's just, it gets so gay. It's like you ask a good question, and then you go, he pretends to be... It's like, you pretend to be Christian. You're not. You're a Calvinist. Yeah, he could. Yeah. What you can change in Tapusa, if it's possible? Well, a lot of these organizations, almost all of them, are the mass of people who work for them are basically young people. Now, it would be a complete lie to say Andrew isn't highly influential with younger men. That's just a fact. So what could change? The philosophy. The philosophy could change away from classical liberalism. The philosophy could change away from a Zionist dispensational evangelical shit show that it is. Now, are you just going to say, well, that's just not possible? Okay. That's fine. Cool opinion. Cool opinion. It is possible. Why not? Now, if that were the case, you'd suddenly be like, well, I mean, okay, I'll be charitable. I'll give it a chance. I'll give it a chance. See what happens. Maybe you're wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. You know what I mean? Maybe. I'd be saying the same thing if I were you and you were him and you said whatever he said, the other guy said to it. It's like, that's actually really good. I like that. Thank you. I feel totally understood. 2 questions. Thoughts on Orthodoxy making communism, which is a political stance, anathema. Thoughts on St. Simeon, the Stylites' life, and if you know of him. Making communism political stance anathema. I don't know enough about the angle of that. I'm sure there's a reasoned position. Like, there could be a set of practices that are incompatible with Christianity that could be set up as a political, but that still goes to the idea that Orthodoxy transcends the political, that it supersedes it ultimately. You have to appeal to Orthodox Christianity above a political system. So I don't think there's any reason why a political system, if in practice could be in operation oppositional, like actually spiritually oppositional to Christianity. I think Zionism, religious Zionism and political Zionism are similar in that regard. That, like, you have to practice it under a certain assumption about humanity and certain people. And if the assumption metaphysically is heretical or blasphemous or whatever, then it's completely incompatible, you know? As far as the St. Simeon, no, I haven't read enough. But I promise, through iconography, I'm going to be learning very intimately about our living saints. So I'm very excited about that. So yeah, ultimately that's my critique. And guess what? My critique goes for everyone. That goes for people who are ultimate Andrew Wilson fans, right? Super fans. If you're Orthodox, you better be reminding yourself that your priority is to orthodoxy, not to a political movement. You can still keep your political movement, but, you know, my unsolicited commentary is online stuff can certainly turn into a sort of a bubble. You know, you're vulnerable to it, especially with a very, like, a charismatic person like Andrew. Regardless of what you think of him, regardless of what he does, regardless of his personal life, his spiritual life, people who follow, like, completely distinct from him, without his knowledge, can fall into this problem online. It's a big problem. You have to act against it yourself. Like, if you make politics your idol, you got to watch out for it. You got to watch out for it. You know, if you make Andrew your sort of political priest and you don't have you're not actually participating in orthodoxy, but you have like this pseudo church that's politics, you gotta watch out for that. It's easy to fall in because then you think like, well, no, this is my job here. My purpose in life is now is a politically motivated movement. You know, you got to watch out for that. It can be it can be an idol, just like the family itself could be an idol. You know, that becomes like your church. Your garden is the sanctuary. Your children are the saints or whatever. It's like, you got to watch it. That's not a personal thing about anybody. Like, that is a legitimate concern and a legitimate phenomenon that you see online. It's very difficult for some people to remind, to leave, to be like, okay, no, there's a whole other life that's spiritual over here I got to tend to. It's like a church less anti-Islam approach to the people. Think Candace type speculation harms Zionism, so we should just go with whatever. Personally, I think it plays into the dialectic. It is. It's totally dialectic. And you fall into that, and you're going to fall into pre-lest. Because your practice that should be spiritual is going to be political, and that's it. So that's the thing. It's like Candace Owens is now sold as the new Alex Jones, and then she's going to have these base, quote, takes, and then it's ultimately be like Zionism, and then it's you scapegoat the Jews again. You run through that whole gamut again, where you're just pulled into, we got to fight the Jews, and we got to do this, and people are gatekeeping, and it just becomes this like, I don't know. It's like you're looking at a game board and you're describing Monopoly, but really intensely. You're like, look at this move they made, and they're on the blue square now, and we got to stop them. And you're like, what the hell? What are you guys practicing? What are you practicing? Honestly, that's a question. Ask yourself what you're practicing daily. More I pull back from politics, the better my life is. Yeah, I agree. The less I interact with X, the better my life is. That's it. The more you're in your real life and practicing orthodoxy and, prayer, go to liturgy, stay for fellowship, talk with real people, the beauty of a fellowship especially is like you're going to meet Orthodox people who have sometimes diametrically opposed positions on things. I had to deal with this too. It's also pride. There's someone at my parish who works for NASA, and I'm like, is there a way I can find that incompatible with Orthodoxy? That was my impulse is like that. It's like, oh, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. That doesn't work for me, okay? You can't be based Orthodox and also think that. And it's like, no, you meet all sorts of types of people who are, they have all sorts of views on things. Can you imagine pulling this shit? Like the way we behave online, can you imagine doing that at your fellowship over coffee? Can you imagine? You couldn't do it. You wouldn't do it. NASA sent him. That's what I thought. That's actually what I thought first. I was like, I felt so important. I even think they're sending Indians to my parish. I told you a couple months ago that for the first time, how we say the Lord's Prayer, and then you say it in different languages. And I was like, oh, cool. Say it, they say it in this, they say it in that, say it in Arabic. I'm like, that's pretty cool. And then one day, I thought I heard vagine. So what does that sound? What is that cluttered language? Some animal getting here? And they added Hindi. They added Hindi. Talk about pride. Talk about a prideful day.
You Americans taking pride in your intellect while my family still has to step in human and cow shit with no shoes. Well, hey, at least we have better 5G than you do.
Yeah. Your feet are disgusting, though. You guys get weird. India gets, like, peculiar types of foot diseases that only you guys get by walking around in mud and poop.
And you're like, what is happening? Why do I keep getting a dirty foot problem?
I don't know. You got cow poop on you. So anyway, I'm assuming tons of people, you know, this is the I'm best suited for this position, even though I hate it. I hate it. I hate that I got 35 DMs.
Is Jim Bob okay with this? What's gonna happen? Whose side is he gonna take? Next on Episodic Orthodoxy.
My take is simple. It's a simple take. I choose the side of the church. The side of the church dwarfs these little political back and forths, dwarfs them, turns them into nothing. That's my position. Further, my position is if you are Orthodox and you have a problem with someone who's Orthodox, my position is you should go to them. I love Tony, but upon further thinking about it and having had this position before, I think Tony, as an Orthodox person, you should go to the person and not to the internet. No, I will never. Never. Not even close. I'm new to Orthodoxy, but I've talked to people in my parish who responded to my thoughts on evolution. Genesis isn't all literal. People at your parish. Yeah, I mean, I don't really talk. I try not to talk. maybe I'm avoiding it. I try not to bring up evolution at my fellowship because I'm almost like don't want to know if someone is trying to make it work. It'll just ruin the donuts for me. You know what I mean? I don't think people understand how insane evolution is. So if someone at your parish kind of is like, well, I don't see the problem. It's like it's out of ignorance, you know?
I heard that, JB. So just for you, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed by thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven.
One thing you have to know about Tony is a video like that occurs as impulsively or involuntarily as our sneezes. That can't be it. That can't be easy. Imagine something comes out of your body as involuntary as a sneeze, but it starts like basically a war on the internet. What did Marilyn Monroe said this? Not that you should be really taking advice from that whore. But she said, it was in a movie. Sorry, it's not Marilyn Monroe. It was a written thing in a movie, and it always stuck with me. She said, her character said, don't listen to people. It's not fair to them. It's like, that's so true sometimes. It's not always true, but like, it's true a lot of times. When people say stuff or they have to say stuff or they vent or whatever it is, like, it could be anything. If you listen to people too much, you can actually hurt them. If you put too much weight in just like ordinary people and they're talking, what they're saying, and they're talking through their thoughts, even here now, it could actually be bad for them. Not everyone's a guide. Not everyone's a priest. Not everyone's a spiritual father. No, you know what I mean? Most of us are just trying to yap our way through, and the internet fails us a bit because even like now, we are trying to talk through our thoughts. But the charity that you have with people in person when they talk through their thoughts is way elevated. But on the internet, There's no charity where you talk through your thoughts. There's no, it's like frozen in time. It's like you etched it into stone. It's like you literally wrote it on someone's grave. You know? I just don't think like that. After knowing people, like, you know, the blessing of having known Andrew and Rachel for a long time before the stakes were increased is that I have a very peculiar, unique view on things that I can't separate. The same thing with Tony or anybody I know. But most people don't have that, and you're not supposed to, because not everyone can know everyone. It's literally impossible. But what I get from that is that if you really are, looking at somebody and you really, let's say you're right about your assessment of them, and they're missing the mark, and they're in the wrong direction, the most effective way to impact them would be to know them.
Hey Jimboy Bobo, Snagglebeast here.
What's up,
My power
Snagglebeast?
is finally back on. Everyone pray for the other 230k plus people in Indiana alone who still have no power.
Indiana.
God bless.
Okay, yeah, prayers for them. I thought you said India, and I was like, no way. That's normal to not have power there. Yeah, prayers to people in Indiana. So yeah, in conclusion about all this, no, I'm not gonna billow. People think, oh, I can't wait. It's gonna get crazy. Nope, I'm not billowing. No flame. My view is push people to orthodoxy and keep them there. Okay. You guys can do all that work if you want. I'm not doing any of it. I think if someone is a sincere orthodox in his morals, at some point he will reach a spiritual dead end with some views practice. Of course. And that's actually what's beautiful about orthodoxy is that's left to you and your priest. That's it. It's left with you and your priest. And the thing is, if you want someone to change, let's say you're right about them, like I said, that assumes that you're right about your assessment. If you don't know them and you can't know them, you pray. If you do know them, then you address them in private. If you don't know them and want to know them, you're going to have to develop a relationship, because no one's going to listen to you if they don't know you. You know what I mean? It's just, he's screaming into the void. It's American Idol. Vote on the best take. That's not going to do anything, man. So since my priest is a boomer who said he can't help me, he can't. It's funny. Well, maybe he's right. Maybe he can't help you. Sorry, that's not true. If you have a priest that says he can't help you, then you find a new priest. But that's just kind of funny. Like, listen to your priest, and the priest is like, I can't help you. You can't be helped. Can we get back on the topic? Sure, Provo. Go for it. Let it out, buddy. Let it out. Get it out, Provo. I think we assume too much of the heart and intent of people. Even if someone is wrong, they might be not doing it out of malice. Yeah, absolutely. But that's the thing about the internet. You only really, if you really think about it, you have some info and data, and then you have like optics, and you string it together. And that's all you get to work with. But in person, you would never take the approach that you would on the internet. It's a fundamentally different world, which is just so bizarre to me when I think about it. It's like, take anything, most of the things we're doing in the internet, and just transpose it into the world. Even this would be absurd, you guys. 1,200 people, right? Thanks for being here. In the world, what would this look like? Just some dude? I'm just some dude on the street, and there's 1,200 people listening to me on the street? Would it be in an event center? Like, what is it? It's literally like a talk, like a person talking through their thoughts and what's going on in the world. You rarely see that unless it's like a scheduled thing, like it has a sign on it, and like there's tickets, and there's like, you know, soda you can buy.
So you're not gonna tell me who to hate? What the hell do I not pay my taxes for?
Mm-hmm.
This is bullspit.
Yeah. That's what happened. My wife was pissed. I mean, we're not getting the full story. You know, not to just say to you, but help you with what? Is there something we're missing where you're like, Father, I'm really thinking about doing an online scam, phishing scam? He's like, I can't help you. And you're like, dude, what the hell? Was it something specific, like helping you move, or? I mean, I would rather in the street to watch you, Jim Bob. That would be funny, though. It just changes our... I think about this, too. Like, I'm like... you know, I used to do stand-up comedy. And, you know, it would be a good night. It would be, like, exceptional to have 100 people in there. You know, all sitting down, eating their crappy burgers. That would be like they'd be like, whoa, you packed the house, 100 people. And I think about this, and I'm like, this is crazy. Like, the internet world is, like, filling sometimes stadiums. You know, but it's just digital. And the phenomenon of filling a stadium and listening to someone talk, I'm not even sure we know the effects of it. I'm not even sure you could even study it. But it is bizarre because the only contrast we have to measure it against is the physical world, in which that would be a very specific thing that happened. And you would never get the same engagement. If I just said everything I'm saying now on the street, I might get 7 people around me. Then you're like, what the hell is this medium? Like, and I'm not even criticizing the medium itself. It's just a unique thing. And I don't we go into this like tech world, and we know that we're skeptical of it. We all know what it could produce. We all know the kind of demons it pulls out of us. We all know its pitfalls, and yet we're like, yeah, but I know the ice is thin, but I'm very nimble, you know? Honestly, I was torn, and even streaming today, I was like, there's a pressure where I have to address something. It's like the elephant in the room, and I'm going to give a big talk and all this crap. And I'm just looking at the icon on my table, which I finished the second layer of gold leaf, and I was like, this is so much better than the internet. The idea of calmly, after some prayer, preparing an egg yolk, drying it off, properly puncturing the membrane, carefully pouring the yolk into a cup, mixing it with 1 tablespoon of vinegar and 1 tablespoon of water, adding it to some pigment, and starting the garment on the next saint. All the rest, everything else went silent. Even when I just recited that, you guys didn't even exist. Just not even existed. It's nothing against you. Andrew knew. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Rachel. It's like, of course you guys know. Maybe you didn't know how crazy the story narrative would look. But you guys are in it, though. You're all, you know what I'm saying? Rachel, you and Andrew, you're responsible. You're in it. It's like, you know, you wait it out. You guys are in the position you're in, and it's going to come with all of it. It's just, you can't have one without the other. You got to navigate it. The internet completely and radically changes our epistemology. When we use it, it's the nature of the medium. Yeah. Absolutely. Now, I gotta say, I did appreciate Tony's follow-up video. That was pretty funny and sort of cooled the mood down a little bit. He took the temperature down a lot, where he's watching Candace Owens, like trying to be really serious about Candace Owens. Be like, I really like this girl. We get it. You got a cool new hobby and you're bored with us. It's even more than a hobby, Provo. I mean, I'm gonna abandon you so hard. Satan divided man from God in the garden, failed at dividing Christ from the Father and the Holy Spirit on the mountain. Satan is still dividing in our age. Don't be divisive. Well, it's like you could be divided in some ways. It's like the proper division. It's like properly divide. Properly divide. Division on politics is obvious. That's like a given. That's free. That comes with the territory. You get to inherit division of politics. In fact, you don't even have to work that hard to divide in politics.
Hey,
It's free
Jim
work.
Bob, Giovanni here. Have you ever shaved your beard off down to your mustache and made it look like Adolf's lol? That would be hilarious.
I
Also,
probably did.
why do you not have more fart noises on stream? That would be awesome. Sincerely, a brown person.
There. Yeah. Well, even Rachel communicated, you know, that the thing that's going to pull you, Rachel, into Pride, and you already know this, is like you're going to have the impulse to defend yourself, to defend your name. You're going to have the impulse to defend your husband. You're going to have the impulse to change people's view of you. You're going to have the impulse to respond to people having a bad view of you and being wrong about it. And you're like, I hate it. I get it. It's the worst. I went through that, man. I mean, ma'am. When I was completely mischaracterized by old Beg Bear, it took months to realize what I was battling. I thought I was battling a virtuous thing about truth, which descriptively is still kind of true. Like I was trying to correct the record, and being falsely accused of something horrendous is just the worst. It's like the most annoying thing. It feels like it's almost like intellectual grape. It's like that. It's like some intellectual equivalent of grape. And then I realized too late, honestly, not like too late. I don't mean like something happened. I mean like I would have rather realized this sooner. Had I been orthodox and in communication with my priest a lot, it probably would have happened quicker, but I wasn't orthodox. And what I was doing, I was chasing corrections. You know what I mean? And that's a Rachel, that's going to be a thing you're going to have to deal with. You're going to be just drawn into just chasing corrections, just finding comments, correcting, chasing. And it's going to just drain you. You know this. You know this. It's a trick. It's a trick. And guess what? What I learned with all beartards, it doesn't matter when you correct people. You might as well be throwing spaghetti up and trying to catch it in your mouth. You might as well be, showing them a cymatic machine with the sand and going into the different shapes and be like, see? You're not right about me. They don't care. They don't care. They don't care about corrections. They don't care. Nobody. They're sold. They bought it. Let them use their product until it falls apart. That's my take. Fine. You want that shitty product? Go ahead. Use it up. Use it up. Go ahead. Go for it. It's a tough one. Because it's personal. I get it, Rachel. It's personal. It's like it's like, ugh. Why are you saying that about me? But can you imagine? Can you imagine every false thing said about you, Rachel? Now more and more because you're, more known. Consider it like a beach. You're looking down the beach and everything that you say is a false thing said about you is an endless beach full of like crabs, and you're trying to grab the crabs and correct them and put them back in the ocean. And you know full well you can't spend your life doing that. You know it. You're not even gonna get to 100 of those crabs in a day. Catching food in your mouth is important. I'm pretty good at catching popcorn. Someone can throw popcorn at me with pretty fast speed, like overhand, and I can catch it in my mouth. It's a weird trick. I wonder if I still got it. Late to the stream. Can I get a 5-second recap? That's hilarious. Can you just redo the tag argument for me? Seven more. Thank you so much. 6 more. Bro demands a debate with an 8-month pregnant woman, begs for following. It's like, I'm just so bored of narrative stuff. I don't know how that could be the most, I don't even know. I can't even. What can I say? I've ascended. It's coming along. I'm ready. I'm ready to start the garment. I'm pretty pumped. It's going to be beautiful. For the particles, thank you so much. Yeah, support the particles that are flying. What am I eating? Some sort of breakfast sandwich of sorts. Buddy bomb. Thank you, Collector's Digest, for the $10. Brings me up to 7. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Do I think supporting Trump administration is going to backfire and ruin everyone's credibility? Yeah. Is that what you think? I'm so detached from it. Like, I just don't even... Honestly, I don't even know Trump's current take on sodomy right now. Sometimes you gotta pick those crabs up and smother them in Old Bay and throw them into the steamer. It's true. I do think Andrew's created a political cultural movement bigger than anything I'll ever do, and probably don't know shit. I don't know shit about politics. I don't think like Andrew does. Andrew has like a different schema the way he thinks. I can't think like that. I just not in my nature to think in. Like, one thing about Andrew is he understands political power. And if your criticism is he's all about power, that even might be a half-truth. But if you're going to criticize that as a spiritual ailment, you're going to have to come at it from a very specific perspective. And I've already gone on the protocol for that, about the protocol for that. But yeah, of course, if you were in the political arena and you're ultimately going toward positions and of power, and if you want to change what informs those branches of power, you're going to understand power and pursue it.
Just wanted to say I very much appreciate the adherence to an orthodox way of viewing and handling this whole HL/Andrew situation. I hope your wife's recovery is still going good too. God bless you and your family.
Thank you for that. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. What was I saying? Tony is a big, cuddly, old schizo who means well. I agree with that. Looking forward to more updates with your icon. Me too. I think I'm going to mix my pigments. I'm a little bit nervous. I'm like a child. Like, I don't want to mess up. I don't want to mess up. Anyway, what I was saying is, it's completely consistent so far from Andrew's approach that he's pursuing the angle of politics. I'm disgusted by politics. I'm disgusted about the way in which you have to operate in politics. You know what I mean? I'm disgusted that the nature of politics is that you actually do have to play ball with, you actually have to have enemies in the room with you. Now it's just easier from my perspective, where I'm from, it's just easier from anyone's perspective who's not in that world to just be like, no, you need to, this is how you have to do it. And it's like, I don't know shit. I don't know anything. I don't know anything about how you have to do something politically. Nothing. In fact, the only thing that I know that comes to mind politically is we just need a king. The rest is obvious. You just kick everyone out. Look, that's my political approach. You take the people who have promise, you take the people, and then the people who are incompatible, you literally lift them up out of their chairs and you throw them out of the country. I have a feeling I'm not going to get that passed. I have a feeling I'm not going to get that written in a bill. I'm not going to... That's my approach. Is that going to work? Do you think that's going to work? You think I'm going to get that? You think I'm going to somehow infiltrate the complex bottleneck that is the political system with that approach? Well, maybe with enough people. I'm not betting on it, though. I got to make sure I get to liturgy, though. You know what I'm saying? I support that bill. I support that bill. Geo? Your situation? I don't know your situation. You vote with the bullet. It's effective. Probably won't pass, though. Yeah, I'm a little bit black-pilled politically. You know what I mean? I'm a kind of a... What do they call it? I'm a bit of a naysayer. That's why I don't focus too much. Because, naysaying is, gets old quick. But I don't have much, faith or optimism. In the pursuit of political, what would be revival, political revival. It's too classical liberal. You know what I mean? And that would be the one thing I don't quite grasp, philosophically speaking. If Andrew says we're gonna take, basically, reinstitute or save the ship of conservatism, of the conservative movement. The one thing I haven't seen is what it actually is. Like I have a different I have a different view of it. Like I see it as an absent thing. Like it just doesn't like the conservative movement, absent a 300-year plan for orthodoxy. I don't see what the conservative movement is. Like it's really hard for me to isolate, honestly. I'm like, okay, there's a classical liberal dominant sect. There's like a rhino warhawk, a dying rhino warhawk sect. There's an alternative right-wing, white nationalist perhaps type of thing, like a Groyper adjacent thing going on. And then you have the more subtle orthodox view that's like a brand of, like it's a better brand, better approach than the sort of Groyper white bioessentialists. But then I'm like, what else is there? Like, what are our options? What are, who are the people on my team? I actually don't know. I honestly don't know. It's just, I have no connection to it on the ground. I have no connection to it online. I don't know what this egregore of conservatism is. I just don't even see it. Honestly, I kind of tailor toward a bit of a more destructive view, honestly. But that doesn't work either. You can't take an accelerationist approach and destroy classical liberalism, right? If you don't have a replacement. Like, I understand that view. Like, I agree with it. I'm just a little less careful. I'm like, well, I'll destroy it then. We'll figure it out. Destroy. We'll figure it out. And that's not the most prudent way to approach things. A prudent approach actually takes a lot of time and a lot of planning and a lot of stuff. But my impulse, if you ever played me in chess, you'd see. You'd see my accelerationist tendencies. I know that accelerationism is actually a fiction. It's a myth. But it's not a myth that I have the impulse for it. If you guys played me in chess, you'd see. You'd see. I run out into the field. I'm like, well, I'll just risk being killed and shot. I might get an angle on your king. I might. I'm going to try it. I take an ortho-dozer approach. Yeah, that's correct. I'm full ortho-dozer. I'm basically ortho-dozer or nothing. That's what I think. We are all God. No, we're not all God, retard. Get out of here. Stupid. We're all God. Shut up. Shut up. Ortho chipper. I told you if I'm gonna get a sponsorship, even one that I have to read at the directly at the camera, all uncomfortably, it's gonna be a wood chipper. I should just start doing it without their permission. Find me a good wood chipper company. I'm actually going to start doing it. I think that's hilarious. Imagine if I actually sold some wood chippers and I just never got credit for it. I have played you in chess. Can confirm. Have you? Yeah. See? Just a quick death. Super quick death. Roof maxer, yeah, roof maxing is a second option. Mm-hmm. You can't really go out there and say it, but it's there. It's there. Yeah, without their consent, I just start selling and promoting wood chippers. Just give the link. Their marketing team's like, what the hell? There's a massive increase from YouTube. Where is it? Where is it? They're like, this dude is doing actual wood chipper sales. He's actually showing the numbers. The problem with accelerationism is that in the external world, it manifests as the French Bolshevik Russian revolutions. Cotel's recent stream on that was great. Yeah, I have to admit that accelerationism is very Jewy. I like how you said it. It's like appropriate, like you said it in a more of a like a fancy way, but let's face the facts.
Cool it with the anti-Semitic remarks.
It's definitely a revolutionary spirit. It is. It is. Admitted. Fake ad reads, I'm down. But for real products, like if I look up a really good wood chipper, I'm going to do it. Can I get a cease and desist even if it's effective? Like, I don't want to, I don't want to risk anything here, but where's my lawyers? Any Jews in the chat? Can you tell me what the risk is for, without someone's consent, selling their product and selling their website? Like, can I do that? Don't ask why they started burning books. Oh, yeah. I know why. If I were to blame it on one guy, it would be a guy named Magnus Hirschfeld, who was a perverted Jew goblin. I think that's how they categorized him at the time. Who was a massive advocate for minority sexual liberation. And you think minority means black? No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Minority refers to, in that context, age. They never put that in the history books, do they? Some kid raises his hand, is like, hey, but teacher, yeah, I see all this awful stuff, but can you, why? Why did this all ramp up? They're like, we don't remember. There's about 20 years there where we just actually don't know what happened. Oh yeah, I am the worst teammate in Halo. I'm equally bad at those games. I'm so risky. I run out when I play Vigor. I run out. I risk it all. Hirschfeld was disgusting. And all the people he ran with, there's I think the dude had like this weird little femboy Asian dude. Like, it was gross. The whole thing was gross. Nobody talks about it. Some people talk about it, but... And then the classical liberals of our time, the Dennis Pragers and the rest of these guys are going, it was so awful back then. They burned books. They were against free speech. And then you push Dennis Prager on free speech, and you're like, do you think CP is wrong if it's animated? He's like, no. And then God sends him down a flight of stairs. Literally, like, I don't even know, it was a month or so after. He's like, no, child pornography is not bad. It's not hurting anyone if it's an animation. You disgusting. You disgust me. And he still doubles down. He's getting wheeled around to do interviews still. Smited right down the stairs. Any new memes? Yeah, I did a new meme. I didn't post it. It's like, it's too easy to do like commentary memes. It doesn't ever titillate my brain. But it was this one. It was, nobody watches the WNBA. Simply, the guy says, well, maybe let more men play. I mean, it's true. If you guys want to increase the ticket sales at the WNBA, just start letting dudes play. Then we'll have 2 NBAs. Why not? Let's do 2 NBAs. Why not? Let's do it. Did anyone get back to me on my wood chipper idea? I'm going to do it. Someone send me the best wood chipper on the market. I mean, not physically. Don't send it to me. Give me a wood chipper company, and I'm going to start selling them on my I don't need to wait for a sponsorship. I'm thinking outside of the box. How hilarious would it be if I got a sponsorship for wood chipper? Like, just 10 minutes ago, I said it as a joke, and now I realized it doesn't have to be the case. It actually doesn't have to be the case. It can be a reality. I'm going to make it happen. Oh, Jim Bob, the iconographer guy? Yeah, he also sells wood chippers. He sells... Oh, the guy who sells wood chippers? That's how you do it. You don't wait around. You gotta be active. That's actually how I made the iconography class. I actually kind of pissed off some people in the sort of the office management of my parish because I was so aggressive. I was like, by the way, there's a guy flying to Greece, and we're going to actually do an iconography class at the parish. Can you guys give us the location? Just ran right through. Anybody? Anybody? Suggestions? Who's the best company out there? Let's do this. Speaking of, I can't rely on on wood chipper sales, so you guys need to help support the channel for now until I get the wood chipper promotion, okay? Don't make this too hard on me. Preemptive brand promotions, I think it's genius. I'm so down. I'm gonna actually find one like this week and then do my first one for sure. I'm gonna produce it too. It's gonna be like, I think I might even pre-shoot it so it's not like a live read. I'll just make it, and I'll list all of the cool features of it. Straight up, selling wood chipper. Can you imagine if I got one of you guys to buy it? I mean, how much is a wood chipper? $20,000? That's pretty good. Vermeer? See? Already Johnny knows. See, two in a row. Look at these nerds. You kidding me? Nice. I'm doing it. Is there any way to know if they're based? You know, like I found out after using Sticker Mule for a couple years that they're actually pretty right-wing. And I was like, cool. Cool. You need an attachment to catch the liquids. That's dark. You need like like a trumpet muters? You put the trumpet muter and it stops the sound. You need one of those too. For the screams. For the flamboyant screams. Did I cross the line? Is this stream going down? Did I cross the line? Wood Max. That sounds right, actually. That sounds right. Wood Max. I think that's... Oh my gosh. I think we found it. Wood Max. Get rid of extra debris with Wood Max. Oh, I'm sorry. Do you hear trees screaming? Get a life, tree hugger. A person's part plunger. Also comes with a person's part plunger. I'm doing it. What a stupid idea too. Like, out of all of the things you can choose, coffee, beard cream, things that are actually accessible to people. No, I choose the least accessible thing, a wood chipper. Tree maxing. I'm down. I'm gonna look into it. 7 more on the super chats. Shaving cream would be good. Maximum brute force chipping. If evolution is true, doesn't that mean truth evolves? Kind of. I mean, obviously saying truth evolves is a contradiction, but yeah, in a sense, like, If evolution is true, then even at the descriptive level, the things you're describing don't have essential properties. So you're only temporarily describing something that's changing. What else can I promote? Yeah, you guys give me a list of unorthodox products. I don't mean anti-orthodox Christian. I mean unorthodox. You never see them. You never see them. Like, you wouldn't see it red on Kill Tony. Not so chipper. I like that. Betty boo, bada beep beep boop beep boo. EV chippers. Panders are the liberals. Oh, that's funny, yeah. I like that. I like that. A snowplow ad read, yeah. Roof insurance, that could be good. I could probably sell gold leaf. Everyone's selling gold bars. Buy my gold sheets, gold threaded sheets, Ball and Branch gold threaded sheets. Bitcoin to gold or something like that. I could just sell the gold sheets. Is physical variation in the evolutionary process makes recapitulation impossible? Why doesn't the physical variation in humans today do the same? Well, it just goes back to that problem. Again, every time it comes back to the same problem. Evolution holds that there's enough accumulated accent changes, as would be called accidental, but accent changes, that at some point it hits a point where the nature, the essential property changes, which doesn't make sense. Because that would make the essential property just another accent property. This is why nominalism is such trash. Total garbage. This is garbage. Someone stole my book title, Into the Wood. Imagine that was the book title of the evolution debate, the thing. Oh, he released a book on evolution. What's it called? Into the Wood Chipper. Ads for elevators is funny. Like it only applies to like a massive building developer. I heard something about evolution hinges on death, and therefore it doesn't work because death's with... Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah, that's... You'd have to redefine death like my last debater opponent did. Just redefine death. So, that is a jugular hit, though. Because then, as I described in the debate, if you don't have death, a feature of sin coming into the world through Adam, then the term death is meaningless before the fall and after the fall. There's no distinction between it. In fact, not just death, but sin. As I pressed my opponent last time on sin, I asked him if certain sins, what we consider sin, existed before the fall. And he had to say, yeah. A bestiality. It would not actually be a sin before the fall if what he called humans were just diddling, you know, Eden looked more like Afghanistan. A bunch of goat peggers. The fall didn't happen yet, so it's all good. Mining drills, that's a good one. Lampshades is funny. Soap bars. You should just start a nebulous pyramid scheme. Speaking of pyramid schemes, 7 left, 8 minutes left. You're all here. You can't all be hate watching. I mean, that's literally impossible. 600 hate watchers? Support this stream, you bunch of cheapos. I don't have $300,000. Call the wood chippers anti-Trump water slides. I just saw that as a logo. Hot air balloon lighter aids. That's so precise. That's so specific. Yeah, like or some sort of like ring, like a rubber ring flange. Like only one though. Like this stream is brought to you by whatever company water flanges. It's like people would be like, I mean, I don't need one, but I guess I'll support. By the way, the minimums are 1,000. They're in the thousands. You start with 1,000. Thank you for your support.
Sorry to go off topic. Not sure what you think of Stephen King, but in the Dark Tower there are these crystal balls. When you look into them they show you whatever you want to see, but in a weird way it tortures the characters. Reminds me of the internet/cell phones. Kengrarian.
Yeah, I see that. I can see that. It's my money and I want it now. J.G. Wentworth. Left-handed rope is funny. Left-handed nooses. Left-handed nooses is like a dark SNL skit. Boo-dee-dee-dee-doo. Ba-da-bee. Inanimate carbon rod. Oh, you know what I got? You guys know what a maul stick is? A maul stick is like a dowel that has a sort of a ball at the end made of fabric, and then it's covered in leather usually. Thank you so much, Vagine. And what you do is you lean the tower against your canvas or whatever you're painting, and you use it as a really stable, like a stabilizer for your hand, so that you can paint really clean lines and organic curved lines that you otherwise can't do by just like sitting there. And I looked into it and it was like there was like an entire era where painters only it would come with the territory. If you were a painter, you used the maul stick. It's just how it was. And then for some reason I forget what era of art it was, and what I forgot what time frame that people just kind of like stopped using them, and then nobody used them. And now with like when I pursue iconography and look at everything, every video I've ever seen from iconography, there's this thing. There's like a piece of wood or like a bar. And I'm like, what is that? And then it's like, oh, that's how you do really super clean lines that are impeccable. Never knew. Here is toward the pyramid beard cream scheme. Nice. I might try it with beard cream too. Just pick a beard cream. Hopefully they're kind of based. Just start selling it. That's cheating. It's really not though. It's awesome. It enhances the beauty. It's an enhancement. Doody bada boo. Was it Impressionism? They were like, we don't need these damn lines. We don't need cleanliness. We don't need form. We don't need order. Oy vey. Leftist reusable toilet paper. High grit sandpaper. Nice. With prints. Like a print on it. Probably the gay CIA Jackson Pollock era. I'm not sure. I have to look into it. Thank you so much, Kyle. I appreciate you. I have another one coming up, by the way. You guys remember that little mouthy Brit? You guys remember him? He was in the chat. He got absolutely demolished. Conspiracy Cats. I'm going to be debating him on evolution on the 21st. So get your bottles of Angel's Envy ready. Because I'm going to be sipping on it for that one. You guys, watch out. I'm coming. I'm going to be aggressive that night. You guys are going to get a real performance out of me. Thank you for the correction. Culture Cats. Culture Cats. Thank you. And follow up, the mouthy people, the breathers, the mouth breathers on that one channel. Remember Austin Sims and the other guy, Kurt? They said they would debate me on evolution. Now when we're trying to isolate a prompt, they're starting to change the prompt a little bit. Of course. Bastards. They never want to debate evolution. They're like, okay, no, I think it's fine, but I want to also discuss creationism. What? No. No. How about no? It's odd artists used to be the mostly men and manly, then it went to gay side. Yeah, same thing with men who, suspenders. Just suspenders. Mustaches. They take everything. They take the rainbow, they take suspenders, they take mustaches. They're going after homesteads. More and more homesteads are getting put up. It's disgusting. You know, you take a masculine ideal of running a homestead, and then there's a YouTube channel like, hi, welcome to the homestead with Eric and Rick. Yeah, we wake up real early and tug on the goats. We're putting up a fence today. It's so hard work. They took boots. They took the Boy Scouts. They took singing. They took entertainment. They tried to take sex. I mean, let's face it. The beginning of it all is the attempt to take sex and make it gross. I've actually thought about this and about how culture, how sex itself has been so perverted that even to talk about sex.
Sir, please do not sell the wood chippers. Your friends will use it on all my H1B cousins that invaded your town.
Stop coming to America. What was I saying? Oh yeah. Sex is like, I don't want to, I'm grossed out or whatever. And it's like, that's because of the perversion. That's because of the perversion. You used to be able to talk about sex. Now you can't. Terrible. Anyway, you and Tony were both instrumental in helping me become Orthodox. Thank you both. You're welcome. Also, I didn't come to Orthodox because of anything political. Either of you said. Exactly. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Thanks for being base. You're welcome, Rusty. Yeah, you're welcome. Evolution is a complete inversion of Christianity, where the loving God creates evolution. Something essentially dead comes alive. Yeah. Through death, living organisms are created. Yes, through death. Made in the image of death. Who said that? Someone in my chat said that. I'll never forget it. Made in the image of death. That's right. Anyway, it's 1 o'clock. Normally I'd go for a little longer because this is in fact my job. But I don't think there's anything much else to say today for me. I think I'm going to go downstairs, have another coffee, lay out my icon and start on the garment. That's what I think I'm going to do. Spend the rest of the day in a peaceful state. I hope you all got something from this today. I know that half or more of you might be, well, I want the drama, I want the goods, I want the division, I want the owning, I want this, I want that. I didn't give that to you. I didn't give that to you. I gave you something much better. So the people who heard it, take it. The people who reject it, fine. Good luck. Good luck with that. Doody bada boo, bada boo. Thank you, Jim Bob, for addressing this. I hate the situation, but it is what it is. God bless you and your family. God bless you. What, last minute donos? Yeah, that works too. I mean, that always helps. We got liturgy tomorrow evening, so I'm going to do that before even entertaining to watch the debate. That might be a good idea. I think it's in the morning. I think it's going to be the most, not just watched, but like dual stream watched. No, that's the wrong term. Sniped. I think it's going to be the most snipe watched debate also. I'm torn too. Like I like, part of me like wants to watch it, wants to do commentary. It's in the morning though, isn't it? Or am I wrong about that? Oh, I thought I saw 8 in the morning. I was like, what the hell? What kind of trick are you playing? Okay, that makes sense. All right. Huh. Okay. Well, I'll think about it. I know you guys will enjoy it. Like, let's face it, I'm one of the best. What am I the best at? Just sitting and watching something with you. I don't know what it is. I'm just really good at sitting and watching something with you all. Wait, 9 a.m. See, now you guys are time trolling me. Someone says 11. Someone says 9 a.m. Someone says 12. Someone says 8 p.m. Someone says 10 p.m. Someone says 10 a.m. See, maybe I am right. Well, I'm in Mountain Standard Time. Is that 8 p.m.? 8 a.m.? Is that what's happening? Anyway, I'm out of here. Seriously. God bless you all. Team Orthodoxy for the win. Goodbye.
Jimmy crack corn and I don't really care no more. What he gotta say, it's irrelevant. Once upon a time, could have been a partner of mine. Now he's getting checks from the government. I don't care where your idol stands, protecting his hands from culture jams with the oven man. Guess another soldier got caught, all ain't what you thought. Nothing here is done for the fun of it. I don't care what you say, I'm on some new shit. I don't care if you're digging what I'm doing. I don't care what you think about my music. I don't care, you're not the reason I do this. Always up, always going. I don't care if I die without you knowing. Tried to catch your eye for a stint until I realized what that meant. Jimmy crack corn and I don't really care no more. What he gotta say, it's irrelevant. Once upon a time, could have been a partner of mine. Now he's getting checks from the government. I don't care where your idol stands, protecting his hands from culture jams with the oven man. Guess another soldier got caught, all ain't what you thought. Nothing here is done for the fun of it. I don't care what you say, I'm on some new shit. I don't care if you're digging what I'm doing. I don't care what you think about my music. I don't care, you're not the reason I do this. Always going. I don't care if I die without you knowing. Tried to catch your eye for a stint until I realized what that meant.